Please be seated. We're not that formal. You don't have to stand the whole night. Well, we're kinder than that. Good evening. My name is Kevin Murdoch. I'm the acting mayor. Mayor Jensen is out of town, and I'll be conducting the meeting tonight. First, I just want to acknowledge that the land on which we gather is the traditional territories of the Coast and Straits Salish peoples. Specifically, we recognize the Lekwungen-speaking people, known as today as the Songhees and Esquimalt nations, and that their historic connections to these lands continue to this day. I also just want to point out that we have a camera at the back, and these proceedings are streamed live as well as archived for historical purposes. We have an agenda in front of us tonight, and I think we're just going to kick off and get going. So first item on the agenda is minutes of June 26th and June 12th. Can we do these? Can we approve these simultaneously?
Move approval.
Right. Second. Are there any changes or corrections? Councillor Zelka.
Thank you very much, Chair. I wanted to ask staff, with the approval of these minutes with respect to the June 26 minutes, item number 11, for the road marking program, I just want to ask, with the approval of this minutes, does that give the final a get-go for the roads to be remarked? Since I think most of us have gotten lots of emails saying that road markings can't be seen. Just want to confirm whether there's anything else required from staff, please.
Yes, I can confirm that.
Thank you. All right, no other comments? Call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Not opposed? Thank you very much. Mayor's remarks. I'll be brief. Just want to remind people there is a night market that's coming Wednesday, the second of our summer series. We also have the next concert in the park on July 20th. I also wanted to just express my thanks to the organizers of the Spirit 150, Canada 150 events that were held downtown, which Oak Bay contributed to. I was able to represent the municipality in my role as acting mayor at one of the official events, and I just wanted to thank them for all the work that they put together. A very, very spectacular event. Just procedurally, also want to point out this is our second to last meeting before the summer break. So we have a few meetings coming up. Next Monday, July 17th, we actually have 3 back-to-back meetings. We'll have a special council meeting, we'll have a committee of the whole meeting, and then another special council meeting following that, a continuation to resolve any outstanding issues before we go into summer break. And barring any emergency meetings, we expect to be back here for our first meeting of the fall on September the 11th. Those are all my comments. So on to item number 3, we have a public participation period. And for those who aren't familiar with our process here, this is an opportunity for members of the public to address council regarding any topics related to the District of Oak Bay. You can join us at the podium if you wish, and I'll give you instructions if anyone comes forward. I just want to point out again that you will be recorded, so the back of you as you speak will be recorded on the video camera and archived. We have a total of 20 minutes allowed for public participation. Each speaker is allocated up to 3 minutes. I just also want to point out, if any of you are here for any of the variance applications tonight, that would be 2408 San Carlos, 1069 Beach Drive, or 3389 Cardiff. All 3 of those actually have an opportunity for the public to address us related to those items. So if you're here for those, you don't have to come up at this point. But if there's anything else that anybody wishes to speak to, this is your opportunity. So, okay, please come forward. If you could just please state your name and the municipality of your residence, and just print your name on that sheet there if you don't mind, so we have the correct spelling for the minutes.
Okay. Yeah, I already did print my name.
Okay, perfect. So with that,
well, Your Honor, my name is John Tiffany. I live in Oak Bay on 1536 York Place. And I'm here to talk about the proposal from the developer Larging Company on the Quest at 2326 Oak Bay Avenue. The density of this 5-story, 14-unit luxury condo building is way too great for the small 10,600 square foot lot, which is only 88 feet wide. The footprint of this proposed building is simply too big. The 2 adjoining apartment buildings have a much larger setback on all 4 sides and are on bigger lot sizes as well. The Quest is too large, too high, and too close to adjacent buildings. The floor area ratio is over 25% greater than the nearby Clive building. There will be major blasting lot line to lot line 12 feet deep for an underground parkade running the entire site. All the existing vegetation will be removed and a small layer of soil put back onto this concrete slab after it's in place. Bordering trees on adjacent properties, including a signature Gary oak, will be destroyed in this process. Any new plantings will have to be removed every 30 or 35 years or so when the parking roof membrane will need to be redone. The negative environmental impact on this site from building the Quest is obvious. The Quest also violates many OCP or official community plan objectives. These include, among others, neighborhood streetscapes, lot landscaping, setbacks, the impact on adjacent residents with regards to shadowing, privacy, and blasting and construction. I'm not against responsible development that respects existing Oak Bay neighborhoods. For example, multiple townhouses with above-ground parking on this site would provide needed housing. I am asking when this comes before the council for the council to say no to large proposal. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tiffany. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak to council tonight? Please come forward.
I did write my name down. My name's Nancy Barnes, and I live at 2340 Oak Bay Avenue. I'm not sure if this is right, but I'm here to express my and many of my neighbors' concerns about the proposed development next door to us at 2326 Oak Bay Avenue, which is the one just referred to. Our concerns are many, and I won't try to list them all, but briefly, we feel the building is far too big for the lot it is proposed for. If it went ahead as is, it would kill a majestic Gary oak tree on our side of the property line. We do not want to lose this tree. The building would also take away sunlight and privacy for many adjacent neighbors. My related concern to this is the extent to which the community is completely excluded from any meaningful engagement in the development review process. We are told that the ADP and APC are community engagement, but they are not really. We have had to sit in silence at these meetings while we heard biased and incorrect information being discussed by these panels, and many major concerns were left entirely unaddressed. We are all aware that by the time the development review reaches the public hearing stage, it is much too far down the line. From canvassing the neighborhood, it has become very apparent to me that a great many residents are deeply disillusioned with the development review process in Oak Bay. If you see posters and pamphlets around the neighborhood regarding this, it is because we have no other voice. We have over 300 signatures expressing opposition to this proposal, but have no opportunity to have a meaningful discussion with council about this. Even the relevant committee of the whole meeting will not provide adequate public review and discussion. I feel that neighbors should be able to be fully involved in this process much earlier than is presently the case in Oak Bay. This process needs to be reconsidered to allow meaningful community engagement and dialogue. At present, the clear perception is that public input is just not to be taken seriously by Oak Bay's governing body. Thanks.
Thank you. Next speaker, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. My name is Elva Jensen, and I live in Oak Bay. And I brought along the latest edition of the Oak Bay News, which I'm sure you have read. Oak Bay voted the best place to live in BC. The district scored well on transit access, unique scenery, and community charm. Enjoy strolls past old, beautiful trees in South Oak Bay. But there were some other warnings. Much of the same magic is rapidly fading in bigger cities like Toronto and Vancouver. Oak Bay to face significant climatic change. There is too much tainting of Oak Bay's look and feel. Without council and staff listening to Oak Bay residents rather than developers, and without environmental oversight, future headlines could read, Oak Bay now in sync with Vancouver and Toronto. Urban forests disappeared, bare land stratas prevail. Overbuilt houses replace heritage homes. Cars and parking overtake gardens. No bird life in sight. Please, listen to your residents in Oak Bay, respond to our concerns before it is too late. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jensen. Is there anybody else who wishes to come and address the council at this time? I don't see anybody. Thank you very much for your comments. I think they're all well taken here, and this is a format where we don't do an interactive piece, but they are being listened to, and I very much appreciate you coming forward. With that, we're going to move on to item number 4, and that is the minutes of Oak Bay Advisory Design Panel of June 6th.
Move receipt.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? None opposed. Item number 5, same minutes of the Advisory Planning Commission of June 6th.
Move receipt.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? None opposed. And item number 6, we have the Council Strategic Priorities. This is a report from the Chief Administrative Officer. Looking for a motion to receive ultimately, but Ms. Koning, would you have anything you would like to add to the report at this time? Okay, thank you. Are there any questions of staff or comments from, yes, Councillor Zelka?
Well, thank you very much, Chair. Excellent report. I very much appreciate getting an update as to what's happening that our staff is up to. And obviously, they're very, very busy, and I very much appreciate this. I want to ask in particular about the Turkey Head parking lot bylaw review. I notice that in the status, it says that this is completed. Could I please have an understanding of what was completed? Is this the whale watching thing, or is this something else, please?
Ms. Koning?
No, actually, that's with the exception of the whale watching.
I believe so. It was the allowance of public use of that space. Essentially, is that what was approved? Yeah.
If I may, so
Please.
so it's not the bicycle part either. It's just the allowance of public use only. All right. Yes, thank you very much.
Sorry, that is with the bicycle use? Yes, but not with the whale watching.
Yes. Go ahead.
Thank you. If I could then ask, thank you for clarifying that the whale watching was not part of this. Could I ask what part of this strategic plan included the whale watching, please?
I guess I'll direct that to staff, but there was no part of the priorities that included that. That was essentially just a staff suggestion at the time that of adding that, but it's still not come back to council at this point. Is that correct, Ms. Koning?
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments at this time? Seeing none, thank you. I'll just reflect on behalf of council our thanks for this. It's very good to get these updates and just to get a sense of where things are at. So thank you very much. I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? None opposed? Those have been received. Thank you. We have some late correspondence to be received.
Move receipt.
Any discussion? No? All those in favor? Opposed? None opposed? Thank you. We are on now to item number 8, where council has a chance to give any reports on new business or verbal reports. Are there any updates or verbal reports from council at this time? Okay. Oh, Councillor Kirby.
I just wanted to give my thanks to the Parks and Rec and Culture staff for the concert last week and the yoga, ongoing fun things in the park, and it's so nice to see so many people out. There was hundreds of people at the last concert, and it's awesome. And the art program continues to stir up conversation. Everywhere I go, I'm approached, and the subjects are raised. Not all positive, but it's always it makes for true community connection and engagement. We get to talk to people that we don't normally talk to about stuff, so that's really great. And I just want to encourage everybody to vote in the for the favorite art piece, because I know mine didn't win last year, so I'd like everybody to make sure they vote, because I forgot and it lost by 4 votes. So just a reminder.
Thank you, Councillor Kirby. Anything else? Any new business? Councillor Zelka?
Thank you very much, Chair. Is this an appropriate time to put a notice of motion forward?
It is.
Thank you very much. This is a new notice of motion I wish to put forward with respect to the tree that is next to 2326 Oak Bay Avenue, and that is potentially threatened by that development. That's the whereas clause. And the notice of motion I'd be putting forward is that the Parks, Recreation and Cultural staff and Commission be asked to provide comment and a report with respect to the significance of that tree and their opinion thereof. Should it be designated because of its historical, cultural, or landmark value to the community? Is there an exceptional botanical significance, or is there value as a wildlife habitat? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Zelka. This will be, it doesn't matter, we'll work out the timelines and so forth. We'll accept your notice of motion at this point. Thank you very much. Anything else under new business? Seeing none, thank you very much, everyone. Item number 9, we have a series of 3 variance applications that are in front of us. These have gone through a process, and I'll just go through each one, and then we'll invite the public for any comments on these applications.
Move the resolution.
We have a mover.
Second.
Okay. This first one, which is 2408 San Carlos Place, if anyone's here for that. This was previously reviewed by the advisory bodies and at the Committee of the Whole on June 19th. Notification has been given to neighbors. And is the applicant present? I don't see them here. That's okay. So we have the motion on the table. Is there anyone from the audience wishing to comment on this application? Not seeing anyone. Are there any questions of staff or comments? All right, I'll call the question then. All those in favor? Opposed? Not opposed, so that passes. Thank you very much. Item number 10 is 1069 Beach Drive. This is a modifications to a dormer impacting building height and occupiable height. This is again reviewed by advisory bodies and the same Committee of the Whole, same notification. So
Move the resolution of 1069 Beach Drive.
thank you.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Are the applicants here for 1069 Beach Drive? Okay. You may not have to come and speak. If there's any questions, I'll call you forward. Is there anybody from the audience that would like to speak to the application? I'm not seeing anyone. Is there anyone from council who has questions? Seeing none. Okay. In that case, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Not opposed? Sorry. You're opposed? Okay. We have Councillor Zelka opposed. So 3-1, it passes. The variance application for the dormer extension has been approved. We are on to item number 10. This is 3389 Cardiff Place.
Item number 11.
Oh, sorry, item number, what did I say? Oh, well, I meant 11. You should all recognize that. Item number 11, 3389 Cardiff Place.
Move the resolution for 3389 Cardiff Place.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Again, this is a builder modification they made to trusses, and that resulted in a roof exceeding the maximum building height by 0.42 meters. This was discussed at the last Committee of the Whole on June 19th, and notification has been given to neighbors. We do have one piece that was the late correspondence that came in related to this application. Are the applicants here tonight for the 3389 Cardiff Place? Okay, thank you. Again, I'll call you forward if we have questions, but otherwise not necessary. Is there anybody from the public who wishes to speak to this application at this time? Okay, we have the one piece of correspondence. Are there any questions from Council of Staff or the applicant? Yes, Councillor Zelka.
Thank you, Chair. I'm not sure whether this would be for the applicant or staff, but I did notice in the Advisory Planning Commission, the comment that was raised by the applicant was that all of the local community members around the building were surveyed, and apparently they were all in favor, according to the report. However, not only do we have the correspondence that came in suggesting that they're not in favor of this change to the bylaw, but I also spoke with a number of neighbors around this building and actually found out that they were not in favor of this. So for that reason, I'll be voting against. Thank you.
Always a dangerous thing to say that you've spoken to everybody around a thing.
I know.
I have a hand in the audience. You wish to speak to the application? Yes, I would. Okay, this is the time to come forward. Again, if you just state your name and write it down there so we have it on the the correct spelling.
My name is Dean Gord, G-O-A-R-D. I am one of the neighbors. My yard backs onto their yard. We had a meeting with the owner, myself, my neighbor next to him, and the other neighbor. So 3 of us adjoining had no problem with it. It seemed unfortunate that it was not his design to do it. It was an error made by the contractor. And that amount of elevation change really doesn't affect. Somebody might be upset about something other than that. That's a different matter. But a number of us met with him and felt he had really got a short end by the contractor. And so at least I can speak from my half, support the variance.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gore. All right, any other discussion at this time? All right, I'll call the question then. All those in favor? Opposed? 1 opposed. Councillor Zelka. Thank you. That ends our variance applications pieces. We now have 2 motions being brought forward. Both by Councillor Zelka. Councillor Zelka, if you would like to read the motion that you would like to bring forward, and we'll look for a seconder.
Thank you very much, Chair. The whereases are rather long as part of the preamble. I won't include all of the whereases. I'll just get straight to the point with respect to the actual resolution itself. Therefore, be it resolved that staff, with respect to establishing a select committee on environmental matters, this is what this motion, this resolution is about. Therefore, be it resolved that staff prepare a report on cost benefits and a draft terms of reference for the establishment of a select committee to provide advice to council commissions and the district on environmental matters.
Okay, thank you. This is very slightly from the one that we have in our package, is it?
Sorry, I read directly from the package.
Okay, I must have just missed.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a seconder for the motion?
I'll second it, but I only because I think we need to have a discussion around it. So I will second the motion.
Okay, thank you. As the mover, I will give you the opportunity to motivate.
Thank you very much, Chair. I very much appreciate this, and thank you so much for at least putting it on the floor to discuss. The concern for this relates back to, and maybe this is more of a general governance aspect, and this may trace back to larger issues. But with respect to the Advisory Planning Commission, I know we have one person who is charged with environmental, review, and to some extent on our behalf, environmental oversight to pass comment and recommendations to council. And my concerns, as I laid out in the whereas clauses, is that it seems to me, with respect to some of the elements, some of the proposals, some of the motions that have gone through the Advisory Planning Commission, it seems to me that the environment is not being considered. That environmental lens is not being considered to the extent that I feel, and hopefully the majority of you feel, should get its proper due, its proper focus. Our official community plan spends a lot of time talking about the environment, talking about culture, climate change, talking about all of the things that make Oak Bay the magical place that we now have received the award for, in terms of Oak Bay being the most livable city or livable town here in all of British Columbia. And I feel our care and consideration over the last 100 years have been part of that. So this is why I wanted to possibly bring back the some aspects of the old Environmental Advisory Committee. I'm not wedded to whether it's a technical committee. I'm not wedded to whether it's a separate commission. I'm not wedded as to whether it's a subcommittee of the Environmental Planning Commission itself. I just wanted to make sure that we had a place where we could have all of our many, many, many experts here in the district and being able to leverage their skills, their expertise, their experience to the benefit of the district. So this committee, this select committee, which is a committee that is struck not by the mayor but by council, would ideally help to facilitate that. The last thing I wanted to say is that as I'm not wedded to it necessarily being a committee with respect to the larger governance issues, I would be fine if staff came back and maybe offered some alternate suggestions. Thank you.
I'll go to Councillor Braithwaite in just a second, but I just had one question before we start. The wording in this is a select committee. I'm not sure what that is versus a standing committee or a advisory committee or what have you. Is there a technical, perhaps I should ask Councillor Zelka that question if there's a, Ms. Jones?
Acting Mayor, I can respond to that one. Under the community charter, there is the opportunity to have a standing committee versus a select committee. A select committee is established by terms of reference by council as an entire body.
Thank you. Councillor Braithwaite?
Thank you. I have to be honest. I struggled going through all the whereases with this resolution. It was a bit difficult to get through all of that. However, I think the intent of the motion is good, but I believe that we chose at the beginning of this term to roll this advisory piece, environmental advisory piece, into the APC. And if that's not working properly, then we should probably look at ways to fix it before we move ahead to implement something new. So I guess my question to staff is staff currently doing a larger review of that commission already? And if yes, then should we allow staff to come back to us with that information?
Ms. Cloning?
So through you, Your Worship, there isn't a formal review yet. I think that there has been always ongoing. There's some thoughts that have been given over the course of the last couple of months, but they haven't actually been put into a report. It might be something that we would look at providing for council sometime later in the fall.
So if I might,
Go ahead, Councillor Braithwaite.
So given that the environmental oversight of development issues is currently responsibility of the APC, then a possible alternate motion could be something like that staff be directed to bring back suggestions to improve the environmental oversight function of the APC, and that perhaps might allow you to bring something back at a priority session in the future.
That is, but I think that we would probably look for a little more clarity about what exactly the issue is that we're looking at, because I'm not sure that we know that. I think that one of the councillors is suggesting that there may be something that's awry, so if we could have some clarity about that, I think that might be helpful.
Okay, thank you. Is there, Councillor Kirby?
I was just going to suggest that's probably, if there's concern with the processes that are taking place at the APC, the Advisory Planning Commission, for those people that don't love acronyms. If there's then I think then that's where we should focus our energies, and maybe speak to that issue directly, rather than creating another committee that would detract from the work that we already have on our plates. And I also would like to recognize that we just reviewed the Council Strategic Priorities Report, which shows an enormous list of things that are still in process, with only one or two, actually just one completed item on that list, so which was a minor bylaw change. So I think we have so much in progress, and much of the environmental attention or the attention to climate change and environmental issues that Councillor Zelka mentioned are in the OCP. That's exactly what we're trying to do with the implementation of the strategic priorities, is to implement those items that were raised by the Environmental Committee of the last term, and that and then also that were voiced in the official community plan again and again. So those things are going to come as we get to work on implementing that OCP. But I think creating another committee is just creating more work for staff and would take away from implementation of the OCP, and all the work that's been done in the past.
Councillor Croft, you had.
Thank you. I just wanted to go back to the mandate of the commission, that the District of Oak Bay may refer planning and land use matters to the commission for review, including the following: development policies, initiatives, etc., including land use, transportation, environment, and climate change. It strikes me that before we strike a new committee is that we should be referring this back to the commission to have them provide their input as per their mandate, not creating a new oversight body or information body that they have the ability to create or ask questions. Because when we had the discussion of setting up the commission, I recall that we were advised that if they needed assistance in an area, they could call for it. They could call for experts. They could call for the assistance they may need. So calling for assistance from the community may not be the information that they need. And we should be directing this from our point of view, saying, I think you need to be looking at your environmental issues a little bit more when you're looking at your land use planning issues, and being that directive rather than creating another body, because I don't think we have the time in our agenda nor in our strategic priorities to create something probably the mandate of the next council. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councillor Croft. Councillor Zelka?
Thank you very much, Chair, for giving me the opportunity to speak a second time to this. I absolutely concur with Councillor Croft. As I say, I'm not wedded to a particular structure or style or even a terms of reference. I just wanted to see in the end that the magic that we call Oak Bay is maintained somehow, and I feel that there's a concern, especially with respect to the environmental aspect. I share a concern. Maybe Councillor Croft, you didn't know, since you were recently on vacation, that an item did come before the Advisory Planning Commission in particular. I'm talking about 2 meetings ago, where two members spoke specifically about environmental matters. They didn't have the information. They were adamant that they didn't have the information. They could not provide a reference. They asked a recommendation. They asked for the information. Apparently, the information was not provided. I can only share with you what's in the minutes that we just approved. So I would like to see that never happen again, where for environmental reasons or for other strong reasons, the Environmental Planning Commission, if they don't feel they have, even one member doesn't feel they have enough information to provide a proper recommendation, that they actually be given the time to provide, to do a proper oversight of all of the information and being able to come forward with a good recommendation. I would support Councillor Croft, if you wanted to put forward an amendment to this, that this be referred to the APC. I think that would be quite a reasonable thing to do, to ask for their opinion on this. I do point out that because of the policies with respect to strategic priorities, this cannot go forward without, in fact, I don't think this could even be implemented in this mandate, would be my impression, because this needs to go through the whole protocol for adding a new strategic priority item, and that itself would push this, no doubt, right to the end of our term, right at the end of our mandate, no doubt for the next mandate. So that's why I wanted to bring it forward now, because it really won't be acted on for at least another year, or possibly 2. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Zelka. I think I have to just clarify one thing on that Advisory Planning Commission, and my understanding of that meeting was that, and I think this is down to the procedural pieces that we need to improve upon, but my understanding is that the environmental report was available. It wasn't asked for ahead of the time at the meeting, so it wasn't available in the meeting. It doesn't mean that it's being refused or anything to the people involved there. I think where we have to look at this is just learning from those sorts of things, right? So I just that sounded like there was things being withheld, intentionally from people. I just want to make sure that we're clear on that. That's not the intent of staff or of that commission. That doesn't mean we can't improve pieces. There was a mention here of a couple of things, possibly referring this motion to Advisory Planning Commission, which might be a little convoluted. Probably I would think a better motion would be to look at something, if that was the will, if the feeling is that there may be some better ways of doing things within the Advisory Planning Commission, that perhaps council can make a motion basically just to ask them if there's any ways of improving their environmental input, if there's better access to information or better things of that nature. That might be a better feedback loop, but perhaps I'll ask staff that question before we go too far down that path either. Is that something we could even request of the Advisory Planning Commission if the council so wished?
Certainly, Your Worship, you can ask any committee to do an internal review. I think you might want to give some parameters, though. What exactly is it that you're asking them to look at?
Okay, so what we have in front of us right now is a very specific motion to strike a committee and so forth. So that's where we're at right now. I'll look for a motion to change that, or if not, perhaps we'll just vote on the motion that's in front of us at this time. Councillor Zelka?
Thank you, Chair. This actually isn't a committee necessary to strike a motion. It's a committee to ask staff to create a report about possibly striking a committee.
Fair.
Just wanted to clarify
Yep,
that,
no, you're
that
correct.
aspect first.
Thank you. All right, I'm not seeing any other discussion, so I will call the question. All those in favor of the motion? Councillor Zelka in favor. All those opposed? 3 opposed. Councillor Kirby, Councillor Braithwaite, and Councillor Croft. Thank you. We also have item number 14, which is the,
Number 13.
Number 13. I went on already to change pages already, which is a review of efficiency and red tape reduction initiative. We have, again, a motion in front of us from Councillor Zelka. Councillor Zelka, would you like to read aloud your therefore motion?
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you everyone on council for your patience with me as I try to work through this. So the name of this resolution is a review of the efficiency and red tape reduction initiative, staff initiative that was brought forward by staff last September and then implemented since then. And for this is related to, for example, the minutes changing and a number of other things that have changed over time. So the essence of the resolution, I'll skip over the whereas clauses for those of you who hopefully have had a chance to read through them. Now therefore be it resolved that the district staff be directed to prepare a report summarizing any and all of the benefits, efficiencies, and consequences of each of the practices and procedures that have been initiated since September 24th, 2016, and report back by the strategic priority setting session normally held near the end of this year. That's the motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? I'm not seeing a seconder. Okay. I guess that leaves that then. So thank you, Councillor Zelka. We're moving on to item number 14. Perhaps before we move on, I'll ask staff, is there an intention from staff to bring back to council just a report in terms of the what's happening with the efficiencies and other things that are happening by staff on these efficiency items?
There hasn't sort of been a formal, I think certainly it's the desire, but I guess it's a matter of our workload and if there's a rationale or a reason to do that. But we can, if that's what council's desire is.
I think it would be nice to have that at some point. I think maybe not so specific to this motion, but having that feedback would be helpful for us to see what's happening. I'm sure it would be a good news story in many ways as well, just to hear what's happening.
We'll endeavor to try and put something together for council.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think we can leave it informal at this point. I think as long as we have a mutual understanding that'll happen, I think that's great. So, and I do appreciate Councillor Zelke, you bringing this forward. I think it never hurts to remind us that it's good to keep track of what's been going on. We have our last item on the agenda, item number 15, is a two-part piece. We had first 2 readings of a bylaw related to 2608 Cavendish Avenue. This property is now in the process of being designated which involves two steps. First, the addition to the Community Heritage Register, and second, having a designation bylaw, which is the more formal part of that for designation. So we can't schedule a public hearing prior to the fall, but we can add it to the Community Heritage Register at this point. So we're looking for two things: motion to hold a public hearing and a motion to add the property to the register.
I'll move that a public hearing on bylaw 4695 be held at the Oak Bay Municipal Hall on September 11th, 2017 at 6 p.m. or 6:30 p.m. and that notice be given in accordance with the Local Government Act.
Second.
We have it moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? I see none. I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed and opposed. And the second part of that?
I move that the property at 2608 Cavendish Avenue is particularly described in the Statement of Significance developed for the property and attached to the June 16th, 2017 report for HAD 00003 be added to the Oak Bay Community Heritage Register.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Thank you very much. You read it all. Very well done. Yes. A luxury afforded to us by being slightly ahead of schedule. Any discussion? I'll see none. I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? None opposed. I just want to thank, are the applicants here, 2608? Well, on the record, I just want to thank them very much for doing this. Even the register process is very important to us as a community. It captures the stories. It captures the history of these houses for our longevity and history. So thank you very much for that. Last item.
Move adjournment.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor? Opposed and opposed. Thank you very much.